What's going on, guys? Chris with Journals Comics here. I'm coming at you today with a video specifically that was inspired by a comment that I just recently received on my Zendaya is Mary Jane video. So I got my laptop here. I'm going to be looking at these comments and kind of going off a platform here. We're going to talk about diversity, the diversification, so to say, in Marvel movies. Or just, comic book superhero movies in general, but specifically what is going on with the Marvel Spider-Man Homecoming cast. So I received this comment from a Jan, excuse me, I hope I don't butcher this name, Jan Lauritsen. I believe they said they were from Scandinavia. But this person left a huge essay of a comment, and I will say it really inspired me because there was a lot of different opinions and questions that the individual brought up, which I might not necessarily agree with off top, but are definitely points to make that should really spark up conversation. And I feel like it's tough to have these conversations be sparked up because people tend to be so offended these days by the littlest things, but I'm not offended at all. I think this is exactly what we need to build communications up. So I'm gonna take it one by one. So if you guys know, if you watch my Zendaya video, I just talked about my opinion is Zendaya being cast as Mary Jane. It's a very positive opinion. I think she carries, besides the color of her skin, I think Zendaya carries a lot of attributes, physical attributes as well as personality attributes that really embody Mary Jane from the comic books. So this individual here said out of all the casting, they understand Mary Jane, but they do have an issue with changing a Caucasian or a white character and making them a different race. All right, and they even brought up a very good analogy of the fact that you wouldn't want to make, Robbie Robertson a white guy, or like you wouldn't want to make, Luke Cage, Asian or something like that, or Hispanic. So why, when they're white, we can change them to a different race, and why is there a double standard? Well, and I think this is a really good question to bring up, because I will say, if a minority or a person of a different ethnicity other than, non-white, if a character that was non-white was brought into a movie and was changed to a white character, there would be a huge uproar. Okay, but here's the reason why there is kind of a double standard and why there are white characters being diversified. Okay, comic books, the superhero genre, came out, as we know, in 1938 with Superman. Okay, the whole golden age up until the 1950s introduced a lot of the DC characters and Captain America, the original Human Torch, Submariner, so forth. And then we got into the 60s with Stan Lee and what he did with Marvel, with Spider-Man, Iron Man, Avengers, and all that. The rest is history. During this time, from the 30s up until the 60s, we lived in a society that was very whitewashed. Whether it was, not to say that it was a racist thing within comic books. I don't think people that were sitting there and making comics, like Stan Lee, obviously, and all of these people that were creating these characters, I don't think they were racist at all. But you lived in a time where, everything just was whitewashed. And the majority of what we were fed in pop culture was whitewashed. So you can even see the open-mindedness, I think, of Marvel and probably DC. I'm not too as familiar with DC in the late 60s, early 70s, but Marvel started coming out with minority characters. Luke Cage, the Falcon, pairing up with, Captain America. I mean, their first superhero. Cloak and Dagger came out, what was it, like the late 70s? Maybe early 80s when they were first appeared, I believe, in Spider-Man comic books. So, you saw slowly but surely a diversified cast, and even up until the 2000s, when you create new characters like Miles Morales, the Hispanic green person of the Green Lantern Corps. I don't know his name off top. So, you know, some good points. But this is why. This is why. And when you look at reality, okay, when you look at the society that we live in, if you were to go to a high school, let's take Spider-Man Homecoming, for example. Here is a white kid in New York going to high school. Is everyone that he comes in contact with and becomes friend with at that high school going to be white? I doubt it. I doubt it. You know, especially in New York, where it is extremely diverse, okay? So, that's where you have to be humble. You have to be humble to why there's a double standard. Not that double standards are, you know, it's not necessarily a positive or a negative thing. It's just how the world is looking at where we came from and where we're at in this day and age, okay? So to say we have a lineup of Mary Jane, Ned, you know, and Flash Thompson, all of his friends have really been diversified. I think there was, I believe the individual that's playing Flash, don't get me wrong, I believe he might be maybe Indian or Asiatic from that area of the world, maybe Pakistan, somewhere in that I don't want to sound ignorant here. I haven't looked him up and researched him. And then there was another, I believe there was a Hispanic individual that's playing one of the characters. So, you know, you have all this group of white characters that are being cast within the movie as different ethnicities. And this goes back to the thing, because this individual does talk about, you know, I get called racist, but when they don't like how the looks changed. The look is so, it means so little when, if you can sit down and watch this movie, because they were saying, oh, I look at these people and I don't even recognize that person as Flash Thompson. You sit down, that's why you sit down and you watch the movie and you watch the character come alive on screen. If the character comes alive on screen and if the actor or actress is doing a good job portraying who that character is, you are going to forget the color of their skin. All right? That should not impact it at all. You know, and it's very rare when you have characters that I feel are so connected to their physical attributes. And that's why Mary Jane, though, has physical attributes that connect to her character. Because she's a model, because she's, even being a redhead, but because of her defined facial features. But you don't have to be white or Caucasian to have those facial features, to have those physical attributes. You could be any race and carry those physical attributes. And that's why I think Zendaya is a good fit. All right. Here's one thing I will say, trying to play kind of a devil's advocate. The guy that is playing Flash Thompson in the Homecoming movie. It's not his race. He doesn't look like a bully. He doesn't look like a jock bully to me. See, that's where you can bring up your qualms or your issues with the casting. I'm not looking at his race. I'm just looking at the fact, well, he's kind of little. He has this this look about him that says, well, he seems to me more like a bookworm than he would a jock bully. But again, this is Hollywood, guys. Individuals can get into roles where they physically look completely different, where they act completely different, and they diversify themselves within their roles. So we have to wait until we see this person on screen in this movie playing in this role. If this guy, no matter the ethnicity in skin color, if he comes out and he plays Flash Thompson like some, good grade student, well-behaved, quiet kid, that's what's going to make him not Flash Thompson, not because of the color of his skin, guys. So, that's a huge point to put out. That they say, going back to the double standard, I wouldn't want to see a Blade movie with the white actor. So, again, you got to understand the history of where all this is coming from. So, yeah, guys, I really, like I said, this creates dialogue, though. There's no reason to take this individual's opinion and look at it from a negative standpoint and to get butthurt, you know, so to say, when talking about these sometimes so sensitive things, race, ethnicity, racism, you know. So the bottom line for me, guys, again, you know, we have to open our minds to the fact that these are characters that are based on who they are in here. Okay? For the most part. Look at Jamie Foxx as Electro. I thought he did a great job. And this is the Electro that was based more from the Ultimate you know, universe, instead of the you know, the classic Electro. It didn't matter that he was black or white. He played Electro, and I think the movie kind of changed, maybe changed his personality a little, you know, because in the comics, I don't think he was you know, not to say that he was like dumb or stupid, but you know, he had a lot of those quirks about him in the movie. But to be honest, I think that added to his character. It added to why he was so deranged in his quest for power. And he did a good job with it. And I even said in my last video about Michael B. Jordan playing, you know, Human Torch in the last Fantastic Four movie. I enjoy Michael B. Jordan as an actor. I loved what he did in the Creed movie. I loved what he did. And I think he should have got nominated for an Academy Award in that role. But I think he did a fine job in his role playing Human Torch. He had that cockiness, he had that smart aleckness, you know, cracking jokes, and he had the personality. It was just a bad movie. It was just a bad movie. But like I said, you know, his race didn't do anything to the genuine identity of the character. Only for the fact that one of the kids was adopted. Like I said, they should have made them both black or something so they could, you know, changing the storyline again. That's when you change the characters, not when you change race, guys. So that's my opinion. You know, I think if we go and watch this movie and these characters aren't who they are, it's because of them as actors, not due to the color of their skin. It's because their acting job did not uphold who these characters are. They did not embody the personality of the characters, guys. So that's my rant. Again, I appreciate the feedback, because just this comment here inspired me to come back and talk about these things deeper and further. So, you know, anybody watching, please comment, put your opinion. This is something that I think needs to be talked about, you know, on a deeper level, to where we can converse back and forth and not be so, you know, sensitive to these things, and be so quick to call, you know, point fingers and call racism and prejudiceness and all this. I think in the world that we live in, our world is diverse, so why not, you know, create these characters in a universe that is diverse on screen? Okay, that's my opinion, guys. I'll leave you with that. Drop some comments, subscribe if you enjoyed it. Till next time.